Most people think missing a payment only means one thing: a late fee, maybe a reminder email, and then life moves on. But behind the scenes, something much bigger can begin. Because when a payment is missed, the account doesn't just sit there. It enters a financial system designed to track risk, recover money, and, if necessary, take legal action. And most people never see how that system actually works. It usually starts with something small: a single missed payment. Maybe the due date passed during a busy month. Maybe the bill was forgotten. At first, the company usually assumes it's just a mistake. So the first step is simple: a reminder. An email arrives. Then maybe a text message. Soon after, a phone call. At this stage, the goal is not punishment, it's recovery. Companies prefer to resolve the situation quickly and quietly. But if the payment still doesn't arrive, the system begins to change. The account is no longer treated like a normal customer account. It becomes a risk account. And once that happens, the tone usually changes. Customer service slowly disappears. Collections begins. Calls may become more frequent. Letters explaining the unpaid balance begin arriving. And the account is moved into a different department designed specifically to recover unpaid money. But something else is happening in the background. The company is analyzing the account. Financial systems begin evaluating several important questions. How large is the debt? How long has it been unpaid? And most importantly, is it recoverable? Larger balances are often reviewed more seriously, because recovering a large unpaid balance may justify legal costs. Smaller debts, on the other hand, are usually handled through collections calls or payment plans. But companies don't just look at the balance, they also examine the account history. Payment records, previous late payments, financial indicators. All of this helps estimate whether the debt is likely to be repaid. If the chances of recovery appear low, legal action may not make sense. But if the balance is significant and the records are strong, the case may move to the next stage. Legal review. Before any legal action begins, documentation becomes critical. Companies review contracts, agreements, and account statements. Every payment record is examined carefully. Because in court, documentation is everything. Without proper records, even a valid debt can be difficult to enforce. Another factor also matters: time. Every debt has a legal lifespan known as the statute of limitations. If too much time has passed, the legal system may no longer allow a lawsuit. So companies evaluate whether the debt is still legally enforceable. If the case meets the requirements, it may be transferred to a legal team. Sometimes this happens inside the company, but in many cases, the account is sent to an external law firm that specializes in debt recovery. And this is where the situation can become more serious, because once lawyers become involved, the next step is often a formal legal warning, a document called a demand letter. This letter is not just another reminder. It usually states the exact balance owed and warns that legal action may follow if the debt is not resolved. For many people, this is the moment they realize the situation has escalated. And in many cases, this letter still leads to a resolution. Payment plans may be negotiated. Settlements may be offered. Because even at this stage, most companies still prefer avoiding court if possible. But if the situation remains unresolved, the next step can be filing a lawsuit. This means the dispute enters the civil court system. The creditor submits the case to the court, along with the supporting documentation. And once the case is filed, the person involved must be officially notified. This is called service of process. A legal notice is delivered informing them that a court case now exists. At this point, the situation is no longer just a financial issue. It has become a legal dispute. From here, several outcomes are possible. One option is settlement. Both sides agree to resolve the debt before the case moves further. Another possibility is responding to the case and defending it in court. But sometimes something else happens. No response at all. When a lawsuit is ignored, courts may issue something called a default judgment. This means the court accepts the creditor's claim because no defense was presented. And once a judgment is issued, the creditor may gain additional legal options to recover the debt. Exactly what those options are depends on local laws and court procedures, but the financial consequences can last for years. The most important thing to understand is this. The legal system rarely begins with lawsuits. It begins with small signals, a missed payment, a reminder, a collection call. Each step is part of a larger process designed to move accounts through stages of risk and recovery. Most people only learn how this system works after they are already inside it. But understanding the process early can make a major difference, because responding early, communicating with lenders, and addressing problems before they escalate can often stop the process long before it ever reaches a courtroom. And that is the hidden system behind how unpaid debt can eventually turn into legal action. New videos every week explaining the systems most people never see. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.